It looks like dress pants, but they don't. I can practice impressions. Doesn't help.
It looks like a Jew trying to be Australian, but it's not. Actually, it is.
Well, you just have it. Why can't we just say, I don't have it? Isn't it that simple?
I've heard that the trick to doing an Australian accent is that each vowel is every vowel.
All right. I didn't mean that.
They look like dress pants. So it's not an A, it's not an I, it's like every vowel at once.
They look like dress pants. That's even better right there.
They look like dress pants.
They look like dress pants. Do you think that the ability to do, except for the fact that there's skill involved, that God-given skill or whatever skill, do you think that that's part of all of impressions, is making those little connections?
There's always like there's a switch that will flip with impressions where you get the one thing.
Yeah, and you're not thinking about what it is.
It's hard, it's very, real impressionists can get more than one thing.
Yes.
But, if you can grab onto one thing that ties it to the person, it feels like that's the thing. Okay. But I've never consciously, I don't work up my impressions. They either come or they don't. Right,
but you were able... but someone else conveyed to you about the little.
I've just heard people talk about that. Yeah, I wasn't seeking advice. Lord knows I don't seek advice.
The sad ones that I can't do that great are the ones where I'm from the area. I'm from Queens.
Yeah,
and I think I purposely do it bad.
You don't have a good New York.
I do. Hey, gives you pizza. Ooh. See,
it's great. What are you complaining about?
No, but you know what I can't believe is I talk. When I talk, everybody knows I'm from New York. Do you hear? Is my image is that I don't have. Blowhardy feels he does not have a thick accent.
It's not just an accent. It's
a way of life.
It's a presentation. I have to say, it's a Jewiness.
I know.
You can't peg it to anywhere else. You might be from New York parents in Florida. But there's just no way around it.
So
it's not California.
It's not California. I understand. Yeah. Well, actually, I don't understand that.
And it's not Midwestern.
Mm-hmm.
It certainly ain't Southern.
Well, that's because I learned from David Higgins, who did the great. He's one of the best. Now, he does great voices.
He does.
And he did the Midwestern Rabbi, and we would like to thank Mrs. Robstein.
Right.
And I'm not even doing it well.
No, but he had the cadence. See, you just get one thing.
Yeah. Right. But sometimes, like when I'm doing Jackie, I'll get that one part of Jackie Mason, and I'll be like, and this man, he says to me, how could you do? But you see, as soon as I'm self-conscious of it, that's another thing.
Right, but it's the staccato thing. It's got to be like this. It's very staccato. It's not very far from Bernie.
That's right. He is like Bernie. Although Bernie's funnier. Oh, no, I was going to say some kind of joke. Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome. Hey, what if I was you going to say what the degrees were tonight, Josh, what would you say?
The degrees?
Like if you were going to do a temperature guy? What's the one I always go with? When I do my DJ temperature guy.
You do, let's see, you do about...
what's the exact temperature, though?
36 Celsius.
No, I say it's 65 degrees down.
I know.
It's always 65 degrees down. You fooled me into thinking...
I'm the one who remembers things.
67 degrees. Hey, you know what? The barometers... We're getting a little barometer action. They never talk about the barometer.
No, they don't. No. Oh, Minnesota, though. They go 3-4 steps deeper than here.
Because they actually have weather.
Right.
This would be one of my early bits when I moved to L.A. What's the deal with the weather out here? Hurry up and something. I was fascinated with that song. It don't rain in California, but man, don't they warn you. It pours. Man, it pours. And the reason why I'm still fascinated, I still don't quite get what he's saying. He's saying like they don't rain, but if it does, it goes crazy. Is that it?
I don't know.
Oh, Jesus.
I don't know if it's a metaphor. I don't know if they're playing on the Morton Salt.
Do you know who that is? Are you one of these people who knows? I want to be more the people who knows who that is.
I'm not really. Not when it comes to 70s.
Well, what's your time period? You're more like the 30s, Blind Melon.
80s, I'm much better. I'm probably better at 60s and 80s than 70s.
60s and 80s. If I said to you...
That's why I have my 70s policy, which is, must be Supertramp.
Well, I heard a group that I said, who is this? I said, "Is this Tears for Fears?" No, but it was the Thompson Twins.
Oh, okay.
And they were excellent. They were excellent. I don't know if that was their only excellent song.
Was it "Hold Me Now"?
Are they the ones who went, "Don't you want me?
Don't you want me, baby?
baby?"
No, I think that was maybe The Fix.
Yeah. So what were you saying? It was
Thompson Twins was "Hold Me Now in Your Love."
That's what it was.
Oh, hold my heart, and hold me high and high. Stay with me.
Whoa, stay with me.
Yes, that one.
Let lovers talk. Let lovers. I always don't really know the last couple of
They
lines.
say I'm a dreamer.
Boom, boom, boom.
With two of a kind.
This makes me so happy. I love that time period.
I did. Yeah. Well, that was my sweet spot. That's because I was like junior high MTV.
I thought it was my sweet spot because I was 24.
Because I was a middle-aged man.
Because I was a paunchy Jew. Paunchy Jew looking. When do they start charging for the recycler? Something like that. Sometimes I got nothing. Sometimes I got nothing and then some. I feel high now.
Do you?
Probably think I am high.
No, I think you're. This is more of a focused.
That's good.
This is more of an Adderall. Pep.
So there's never a thing where he's on the natch. No. He's driven by something.
I would know what the natch is with you.
I would have to, if I didn't have Adderall, I'd have to time it with 3 pots of coffee. Anyway, so whatever it's going to be, I don't care what they say.
I'm sure I know what you're like, not on Adderall, but just like no drugs, totally natch. That would be a fucking mess.
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah.
This could be something that you might say, hey, I like this. You know what's going on. You're able to remember your name. I like that, Andy.
So far, so good.
I know. But what if that becomes a thing? No, I'm just very scared that you're going to make me go clean and sober or something.
How could I possibly make you do anything?
You don't. That's my angle.
Yeah.
I can't help it. Look, if it was up to me, we would talk more about cars on the show.
I was happy when I made you start returning my texts.
I know you were you were almost like Svengali.
I gave my hard pitch for you taking some time off from weed a while back, and I knew it had no purchase. So.
Are you kidding me? I've been tapering off. You got me. I almost had a heart attack when you told me our favorite place. You were worried it may not be open forever.
Yeah, you'll never find another one.
Here's what I want. If I had my druthers, and believe me, I'm going to look that word up one day, but I would leave my and to the left I get coffee, 3 doors down.
Yeah.
And is that the name of that group? And then to the right, around the block, or 16 feet, pot shop.
Yeah.
That's what I like. But that's ridiculous because I don't understand. I don't want the guys hanging around. I don't want the wasted dudes hanging around.
Yeah.
So
you'll have to settle for 8 blocks.
Yeah. I am totally, you don't have to tell me I'm in heaven. This is heaven. It would only be more heaven if when I got to Ventura Boulevard, it was like Santa Barbara and it was the beach. And it was something. It was something. I mean, I admit that it's
you
not.
You could move to Santa Barbara and get something very much like that,
and drive down for auditions. How would I keep my career going?
Yeah, right.
Josh, I can't afford to go up and leave town during pilot. Is it pilot season now?
No, I think it's over.
You sure?
I'm pretty sure. They just picked up all the pilots.
Ask me how pilot season is going.
How's pilot season going? Ange?
You know what? It's a year-round thing now.
Oh,
they don't do it so much that way.
A lot less stress.
No.
No, you know you're not working year-round now, as opposed to just the season of knowing you're not working.
That's the thing I like about the business now.
Yeah.
All year round, you can have disappointment.
Yes.
In the old days, you had to build it up.
You didn't miss the boat. You're constantly chasing the boat.
This is great. This is my image of how the podcast was always going to be.
Yeah, just banter.
And the only thing I would add on would be that smoking would not be bad for you, and I would fucking chain smoke. I would love that. There's chain smoke.
Yeah.
Like Letterman. I love the way Letterman smokes a fake cigarette. I just think if smoking didn't hurt you, I'd be right on board, baby.
Sure.
Baby on board. And you know who else I'd love to do if it didn't make you depressed? Cocaine.
Who else you'd love to do?
Cocaine.
Yeah.
I would have been, people go, oh, cocaine's bad. That's not exactly true. It's really great.
Right.
And then it's horrible.
Sure.
So you get it. It's a heroin thing.
Yeah.
But I never wake up and say, you know how they say if you tried heroin, some people go, oh, it's supposed to be so amazing.
Yeah.
I never have had that feeling. I mean, I've never been that much short-term gratification because it's not easy.
No, I've had it offered to me, hand out.
Have you really?
And I passed.
Like syringe out or hand out?
No, hand it out with the suggestion that I smoke.
That's the thing. That's how they get you hooked.
Sure.
See that I don't want to do that. I think I would smoke opium, but I think that I haven't smoked opium because every time they've called it opium, it just seemed like pot. Have you ever smoked opium?
No.
Okay. Well, I don't want to go too much further into this because when we get to the formaldehyde and the ether,
right.
If you breathe a little ether.
Huddling in a closet with a magic marker.
I did love that smell. Also, when they hand out new pieces of paper.
Yeah.
But neither one
Were
of
you like a deep sniffer though?
No.
Okay, good.
No. And I never was a glue guy.
I loved the smell of gasoline as a kid.
It is great, but you're still not going to put it in a bag. And
no.
You're familiar with biology? What is the theory? Have you told me what the theory of the? I don't understand why you yell when you're nervous. You breathe into a bag.
I don't know. I think because you're filtering out, you're basically lowering your oxygen intake.
So that would calm you down. Maybe it's a rumor. People.
It's for hyperventilating.
Oh yeah, they go this. I'm doing it wrong.
Theater of the mind.
Boy, we went on a roll there. I think we got an hour and a half. I think that all we have to do is add the questions. I have a new phone, Josh.
Are you enjoying it?
I don't make any money to tell you that. Yes. Yeah. And I make no money to tell you this. But it's an XS. No, I messed up. It's a 10, right?
Yeah. But there's 10. There's modifiers with the 10.
It's a 10S.
Okay. So you spent some coin on it.
Well, not the way they presented it.
You'll be spending monthly coin on it.
The monthly, and I even said
but you were due for an upgrade.
That's 2 upgrades. Don't kid yourself.
I wouldn't.
But I have to say that we had waited like 4 years. It's been about 3 or 4 years. This is a much better phone. I'm not making it. I'm not going to do any tutorials. But the fact that it has the facial recognition.
Yeah.
And then you just swipe it up. It's like.
I don't know that. Do you like having your phone cringe in your hand?
What do you mean?
With the facial recognition?
Oh, that's not nice. You saying my phone senses that I'm ugly?
Yes. I guess that's the core of what
Josh. Sometimes you go too far.
I said it a little more artfully, I have to say.
You're in trouble when your phone shakes its head at you. So I must have spent 4 or 5 hours a day putting my password in when the thing went off.
Yeah.
This is the greatest thing in the world. It's smooth.
Did you enter your face with a panicked look so it'll really recognize it? There it was.
I lost my keys.
Andy. What did you do now, Andy?
I made it not work.
Okay,
is that possible? All right. That's how you know. That's how you know that this is not the right thing for me. It's 10 minutes. I'm already doing things like that.
Bugging into his phone, trying to fool it.
I had a phone for 3 years before I realized that, when it's off, you can kind of see yourself.
Wow. Nice.
If you have something in your face.
Sure.
This phone that I have
Glass reflects.
Susan has the Max.
Yeah.
And hers is bigger.
Yeah, because of the best camera.
Right.
Yeah.
And, that's not why. I mean, that's not, but yes, that's why. But also, it's bigger.
Yeah.
And she enjoys that. Not penis-wise, though. Get it? I don't have a big penis. This is the new part of the show I want to deal with.
I saw that on Reddit.
It was small because of what you didn't see it on CNET.
They went, I've never heard of Andy Kindler, but I heard he has a small penis.
As you get older, you don't think about as much as I used to think about penis size.
Yeah.
And the thing that was odd, it was other men's penis size. Good night, and we have another chapter of Andy's homophobia. Homophobia writ large. Is that where all that humor comes from? Or am I working out childhood issues? Or I feel very much like you had me watch that movie because he's obnoxious like me, Cassavetes.
He was pretty obnoxious. I didn't have no knowledge of the movie.
Yeah,
before.
but he was like looking in the mirror a little bit.
Yeah.
He looked at me like, why did you do that? Why did you break that guy's thing? And then he tries to say, oh, I'm just kidding around.
Right. And he's laughing in the graveyard.
I got to tell you, man. Well, we're not going to get into that now, but I had many emotions with that movie.
Yeah, good.
So everything I was going to say was going to
talk more about the movie.
Yes.
Ah.
But we got this last weekend, and man, it's just.
Aside from the facial recognition, what's better?
Okay, I'll tell you. Okay, what's better is, well, silly things like that. If you ever want to use the flashlight, it's right there because that's one of the things that you hold it and push.
Right.
I really blew it. Look, you got me nervous now with what else is good. No, the main thing that's great about it is that it's intuitive that when you want to go, that when all else fails, you can just swipe up and get rid of whatever you're looking at.
Gotcha.
And so it makes it move a lot faster, and everything about it is great. And also, what's great, I'll tell you something. I got in the car today, and I would say for like 2 hours, I felt like I was in control of things.
Wow. While driving, which is
while
good.
driving. That's what I'm saying.
Good.
They had this Bluetooth.
Yeah.
It's so great. I know I don't like Bluetooths in general. They kind of look weird. But these are like, they just stick in your ear.
What, the AirPods?
Yeah. You put them in, and what do you have to do to activate them? You wait for them to come on. Not like anything. And so I was driving. I had directions in my ear. I felt calm. I was going to be on time for my appointment. And until I got to the gastroenterologist who said I might have to have another colonoscopy / endoscopy.
Ah.
I was completely happy. But I might have to have, this is what I hope, are you sitting down? I have low iron.
Right.
Yeah.
So he thinks there might be leakage or something?
It could be. We don't know. I didn't realize that if you are missing iron, there's only a few things of why you're missing it.
Yeah.
But he said to me, I don't understand. You're making red blood cells. And I said to him, I kind of tried to look like, yeah, that's what I thought. Right. But I did get depressed because I had to go to this place, Quest
Diagnostics.
Yeah. And they are designed to, it's like the old Soviet Union there.
Yeah.
Do you have first of all, if you're walking in and not have a previous appointment, they might not even say hello to you. So I stayed there for like an hour. So I was getting a little depressed because I don't want to have a thing.
Right.
Procedure done.
Well, so, they'll knock you out for it.
No. This time they said, I have to. No. I know. None of these things are important because this is not real problems.
No, I mean, I'm sorry. I've had both. I've had both those things, and they suck. But they aren't.
No, they're not.
It's more of a dread than it is the actual thing.
Well, you're not a one-up guy. Like you're not the type of person who is as soon as I start talking, say, hello, I had my kidney removed. That's not how you are.
I had 8 inches of colon removed.
That's true. They also said they might have to look at my small intestine.
Yeah, I had 8 inches of that taken out too.
Is that just to keep it even? I don't understand. What do they mean? I don't get how they mean.
I had what they call the fistula.
Really?
Yes, where my small and large intestine kind of kissed up against each other and created a little.
Are we lucky we're married?
Between the
if
two.
we were not married, we wouldn't get one date out of it. We would get the people be running.
People love old Jew medical corner.
I'm telling you. You know how they say comics, women like comics? Women don't like old Jews complaining about their conditions. I mean, one old Jew.
I'm not complaining. I'm bragging at this point. I've got an MRI on Monday.
Oh, what's happening?
And a CAT scan.
What's happening for you? For the back?
Just to check up my 5-year. Official 5-year checkup on the kidney.
Oh,
so I go to the kidney doctor the other day. I'm like, 5 years, huh? That's right. 5, because it's cancer. So, and he's like, 5 years, that's good. He's like, yeah, 10 is better. Like,
come on. You son
jerk.
of a bitch. Because what you were thinking was, at the 5-year part, it's almost like the statute of the limitations.
It's kind of,
can't
right,
happen
exactly.
To you. Well.
Which I never believed, frankly.
Oh, the 5-year thing?
Yeah, especially since my dad had like a 7-year recurrence that killed him, so.
I don't mean to laugh, but the way you had knowledge, direct knowledge that refuted whatever the thing was.
But still, I wanted that 5 years, huh? High five, something.
Well, doctors.
They aren't big high fivers.
They're not big high fivers. They have problems because they think you're going to sue them if you don't make it to 6.
Right.
Oh, I laugh so easily at other people's. I'm like Cassavetes.
Yes.
In the thing with the graveyard.
Yeah.
Hey, here's the punchline of him was, your brother died when you were twin. So, also, my mother doesn't say. Now, my mother, as I told you, should not be listening to this podcast.
Did you speak to her for Mother's Day?
Yes, I did.
Good.
But she seems, I don't know. She seems like, I don't know.
Disappointed in you.
A little bit more, I can't explain. But I'm no doctor, as you know.
I do know that. Yes.
So hopefully we'll get her back and she'll be starting again.
She doesn't seem energetic.
She seemed, here's the good things. She's very happy. And I wish I had that when I was a child. Hello? She's happy. You know what I like, Josh?
What's that?
That she's happy now.
Yeah.
I would have enjoyed that from age 11 through 32. No, I don't want laughing from you.
What did you want?
I guess laughing.
Okay.
Here's what I'm going to start. Like 5 years from now, I'm going to be, Blowhardy feels thirsty. What kind of a drink is this? And that's not really Blowhardy.
Blowhardy, a visitor from the East. He knows all. At least he says he does.
No, my diseased yak. May a tired yak on your Funkin' Wagnalls. I never thought Funkin' Wagnalls was a funny reference. You loved it.
I did. I giggled and giggled and giggled and giggled.
So hopefully I'm going back to see the mama, 90. Life is
90th birthday?
90th.
Wow.
Life's very precarious. I'll say that. And it feels like part of me says this. I wake up sometimes and I say, why doesn't everybody in my fucking life just die already and get over with?
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because I'm attached to you now. I didn't want to be attached to you.
I have younger people in my life now, fuckers.
No, I don't want to have to worry about, I don't have to worry about missing you. I'm only kidding, of course. But it is true that I think in general, that's why people do, one of the reasons why people are scared of intimacy in a way is because.
Absolutely. A fear of abandonment.
Fear of abandonment and fear of when they're gone. Oh my God. And we'll be back with more of the death podcast.
Getting misty, imagining dead people.
And we're going to be talking about death for the next hour and a half. And the only respite will be 67 degrees.
I went to my mother-in-law's for Mother's Day.
Ooh. Now, catch me up to date again. Where are we going again? Is it Orange County?
No, Calabasas.
Ooh. And there are a lot of retired old ladies up there, I think.
That's true. And a lot of very wealthy people as well.
Cool. They're not mutually exclusive.
They aren't. In this case, they basically are. But so she was good. She was well-behaved and in a good mood. She had a head injury. She banged her. She fell during this week.
Wow.
And but she's okay. And
did you know how she fell, or is not important?
She fell in the bathroom, and my nephew was staying with her, thankfully, and he took her to the emergency room. And she had a few stitches, got a CAT scan, everything was fine.
It is unbelievable, and I don't want to scare the listeners, or many of whom are under 80. Some of whom are under 80. Right. But this thing about falling when you get older, you don't want to fall. You don't want to fall. I think someone said, who's the one who said, you said that maybe.
I don't
Past
know.
45, you don't want to fall or something. There's a certain age where fall.
I don't think 45 is it. I'd like to think.
Well, until around age 18, all I did was fall and trip over things.
Right.
It seemed that way.
When you were falling in your 60s, it was scary.
Yes, that was scary. But you never would hear, oh, Andy was off-roading again. Oh, Andy from the windsurfing.
Right, exactly. Of course he fell.
Of course, but I've told
He's
him.
into parkour. They fall.
What is that? Parkour?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it a sport?
It's sort of a sport. It's those dudes who fly around, dancing around cities, basically jumping from rail. It's like,
oh, are they the tightrope people? No. Who's
really.
The tightrope at the World Trade Center guy years ago? Or not the World Trade Center.
Yeah, that's a whole different thing. That's the tightrope walking guy.
Hey, who's the tightrope guy? Do you think that maybe
Man on a wire is like what I like to call him.
Do you think we should do maybe like to spice up the show? I was thinking we should do events like, and you can't see us do them, so that would be weak. But we'll do skydiving. We'll mix it up.
Sounds a little too spicy.
Now I don't know if you can see at home. No, we can't.
I can't even imagine doing like a radio theater version of skydiving with you.
Have you? You haven't done it.
I have,
and you won't, right?
I won't, but I would.
You would. How about bungee? You've done the bungee?
I have not. No.
That one to me seems deceptive.
I would almost rather skydive than bungee jump, just because of my back.
I don't. Yeah, you shouldn't bungee jump.
No,
that's the last stupid thing you would do. Well, I'm glad this fifth operation worked out, Andy. Right. You know what they're doing over at the Rafter Festival? They're doing the bungee. It's fine. You don't think people who've had 7 operations go on that all the time?
It looks like a tourist activity, but it's not. It's certain suicide.
I was listening to this one podcast, and I forget what it was. But the guy, they were doing stamps.com, but you could tell the guy was like, all right, now, this is something you've heard of before.
Yeah.
And it's a classic, but it was like he couldn't, but it's still good.
Right. He was trying to divorce himself.
Yes.
Yeah. That's what I worry about with us if we were to ever do ads, is the irony-free presentation.
There's 2 different ways you can go with there's different bad ways you can go with the ads.
Yeah.
You go too long with them, try and make them funny.
Right.
Then people have to listen to the ad longer.
Right.
Are you kidding me, Josh? Are you telling me you don't have supplemental disability insurance? That's what we should be selling. Assisted living and those kind of products.
Yes.
You know what's terrible? I want to drag you.
Your mortgage seems very forward. Have you considered
that you could die? Then maybe you should take out insurance. Now, my insurance guy, who's my nephew, no, he's my cousin. He's telling me, he's not telling me, but what is this term to whole life? What is going on? People say don't go that route. Don't go
whole versus term.
In other words, I have a certain amount of insurance.
Yeah.
Then I guess it ends. Unless you turn it to life. I'm asking the wrong guy. I thought you would give me some insurance. If nothing, insurance advice.
No, I'm not your man.
You have no insurance?
I do have insurance. But I don't have much knowledge about it.
That's good. That's where you have less. Well, God. I was going to do something worse now. So I'm going to guess at what I don't know. One is you have a higher thing, but you don't get a cash value back at the end.
Right.
That's what I mean.
Right.
But then when you get to be a certain age, my age, they start going, hey, remember that give a policy you have? Before it runs out, don't you think you should trade it in for $6?
Miserable little clerk crawling in here on your hands and knees with nothing but a $500 equity in a life insurance policy. Well, you're worth more dead than alive.
You said, and what was it that he says? They said I could. You said I was a.
You once called me a warped, frustrated old man. What are you but a warped, frustrated young man?
For someone who's Jewish, you are so tied into that movie.
I know.
But you know what? It's not that.
It offsets my 10 Commandments fetish. So.
But you don't have a lot of, except for Edward G., you don't have a lot of lines from that movie. I get you. You beat us. You goddamn beat us. They did it. They goddamn did it. What did you say when you goddamn apes?
They blew it up. Damn you all to hell.
What does he care that they blew it up? How long did he want the Statue of Liberty?
He wasn't talking about the Statue of Liberty.
What was he talking about?
He was talking about the world.
I don't understand. Is he saying it's a true story?
Yeah.
It's a true story?
Yes.
That he woke up and monkeys took over the world?
We didn't wake up. There was a long thing. Happened to be while Charlton Heston was in space.
All right, now, I'm going to ask you off camera for the backstory on the monkeys. They still make those Beneath the Planet of the Hoo-Hoos.
Mm-hmm. Yes, the whole Hoo-Hoo series.
I've only seen one of the movies.
Which one?
The Planet of the Apes. Because at the end of the movie, Charlton Heston goes, "You goddamn, they goddamn." The other movie where he says that, because I've heard him talk about it, is Easy Rider. Because they didn't know how to end it or something. He goes, "We won." No, man. We blew it. Remember he says that? We blew it.
Yeah.
But it means nothing. It's just a choice that Peter Fonda made. I haven't seen that movie all the way through.
Really?
I've seen different
parts. So you
parts
don't know how it actually ends?
Oh, I do know how it ends.
Okay.
But then he says, "We blew it." Do you know that part? We blew it.
Yeah.
We did it, man. That's Dennis Hopper. Hey, man. Remember when Dennis Hopper was like, "Hey, man, the 70s are going to make the 90s look like the 40s, man."
I love your impression method. Hey, man, that's Dennis Hopper.
You know what? Maybe I should put some cold water on my face and realize I'm not an impressionist. Some people are and some people aren't. It's not in my bailiwick.
I don't think the cold water is going to change it.
Did you go out for a meal in Calabasas?
No, I cooked for my mother-in-law at her home.
Isn't that hard to go to someone else's place and cook?
It wasn't hard because she has a particular fetish for the hamburgers that I make.
Oh.
So I literally just had to make hamburgers.
Now, how do you make these hamburgers?
Is
it on a grill?
I make them on a grill pan.
Oh, that's what Susan makes the same thing.
I sear them and then finish them in the oven, like I do so many pieces of meat.
What's that?
Like I do with so much.
Is that one of your tricks?
Yeah.
It works.
Works well.
It works.
Keeps it from
getting moist. It stays moist.
Stays moisture, and it keeps it from overcooking a particular side of the thing.
I was thinking of something else.
Okay.
And I realized what you saw from your end was he's not listening. What happened to him? And from my end, I was listening to the hamburger, and then I said, "Should I say this other gross thing?" And I said, "No, I'm not going to say it."
Huh. Now we're all curious.
Well, because it's just okay. I'll tell you because here's what happened.
Okay.
The woman. Well, I don't talk about the bathroom. I hate that there's a bathroom, and I hate that we talk about it. We have body functions; they should be left silent, and we should have our smell glands removed. But when I was at the woman who did the colorectal exam, she was checking the hemorrhoid area. This is what she said to me. She said, "Your internal hemorrhoids look very good. They're very red and juicy." So then I went to the doctor today, and I thought as an opening line, there's a joke. He said to me, she said, "What did she say?" I said, "She said something that will probably never leave my mind for the rest of my life." And I tell him, nothing. I get nothing from him. He doesn't laugh at I think he thinks, because I think he thought I was saying it was really a terrible thing, which she had said. I don't know.
All right.
I tried to do your bathroom humor. I tried to be honest.
You should go to my guy who has like ass puns all over his office.
Well, I have a, well, this, the GE, the colorectal, it was a woman. So she was, and I guess I think I prefer that than some wisecracking
Stronger
guy.
erection.
It's so terrible. That sounds like that. It's like that scene in the movie that we saw. That was really hard to watch.
Which one?
The woman.
Yeah.
Stop bringing it up. How are we doing on time? We don't have to bring it up yet, right?
We don't have to bring it up yet. No.
Okay.
I actually went and saw a movie this week. I saw Seth Rogen's romantic comedy with Allison the other day.
You saw?
We snuck off to an afternoon flick.
And what was that movie?
It's called Long Shot.
It's what,
and it's funny and cute. I bought it.
You did buy it?
I did, yeah.
Well, Charlize Theron is very good.
Of course, I'm a fat deadpan Jew in a movie, so I take a certain amount of comfort in seeing Seth Rogen in that role. But no, it was good.
And who wrote that movie?
I'm not sure who wrote it, but it was a team of a man and a woman. I can't remember their names though.
Babalu Mandel?
No. But it was the stuff between him and Charlize Theron was great. I thought the script kind of borrowed a little heavily from an American President.
I heard that in the reviews.
The way it was built.
Yeah.
But beside that, it worked. We had fun.
I wouldn't say anything negative about it because I don't know anything about it. And also, why would I do that? Why would I screw up one of the few good relationships? So I don't even know how I could add on. I'm already nervous as you're talking about
Just
it.
because I'm saying Seth Rogen and you're worried about
No, because I want him to continue to like me because that was
okay.
a big thing in my life that I was able to be nice.
Yeah.
So why ruin it?
I'm not saying I wasn't baiting you into saying something bad.
But the thing is,
I'm rooting for Seth Rogen, as you know.
I know you love him, and I love him. Well, I don't love him like you love him, but I was thinking though that one thing that looked reminiscent to me was that the Katherine Heigl. It seemed like a Katherine Heigl-y. It seemed reminiscent. Like, does he have a look of women that he? There's something about the. I don't even know how to express this, but the
it
idea.
was a blonde woman.
Right, but the idea of hot women going out with, I'm not saying Seth Rogen isn't hot.
Well, but I mean, that's built into the movie.
Right, but that's the way a lot of those movies are. Like, the other one was 40-year-old, you take this all out, okay? But the one where he was a 40-year-old, no, what was it? Knocked Up.
Yeah.
That was this thing. Well, how could he be with her? So whenever I watch those type of movies, I always think, if it's so unrealistic, why aren't they just...
I just think that, I always think that's a super misogynistic viewpoint, though.
You do?
Yeah.
Tell me what.
Because it assumes that all women are super shallow.
It's an interesting thing that I don't really understand. I mean, I don't normally like superficial... Here's the thing. If you're watching a movie...
But I mean, how flip it the other way. If there's a really, really handsome dude with a wife that's overweight. Is it the same thing?
I don't even believe in. I'm a fat activist, so I don't even believe in overweight. So I'm kind of I'm almost like a super. I don't care about.
Well,
that.
but you're saying it the other way with
That's
with
why
Seth
what I'm
Rogen.
saying. What I'm saying has a degree of unpleasantness to it to begin with, right? So I can't really
that's
argue.
my point.
I can't really argue for it. But what I will say is this: it's almost like I know because someone's.
I was a fat schlub when I met my very attractive wife 25 years ago, and it worked. Granted, she was older and had a kid, but
Well, I'll say it differently. Maybe because I loved Woody Allen, but when Woody Allen would be with Louise Lasser or Woody Allen would be with Diane Keaton,
right?
I didn't think that maybe it's because I don't know. It seemed like yes, maybe. If he wasn't, the point I'm making is, if someone's a celebrity and they're a rich celebrity, they're wealthy, they're going to probably sometimes have a chance to date someone if they go for that thing. If they're interested in looks like I got to get someone hot,
yeah.
then they're able to get someone who on a regular playing field without the fact that this person's a movie star, they may not be able. You're saying why wouldn't they attract one of the 3 or 4 most beautiful women in the world, like Charlize Theron? I have. When you take this out, maybe you could dump it in the backyard.
Oh, I'm not taking it out, baby.
Do you say that?
I just love the 5 solid minutes of Hamana.
I'll tell you what it is. I just feel like these movies. I have a problem with a lot of romantic comedies in general, and I love them when they're great.
Right.
You know, nothing about this movie sounds like something I would want to see, only because I've seen movies before where it does seem like that premise is used a lot, is all I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
but do you think that's an inherently misogynistic point? Completely.
Well, I mean, I've heard it a million times when it comes to Kevin James or when it comes
well,
to
that's just I'm unoriginal. Can't you say I'm unoriginal?
But but I don't. But I think. I mean, I think it's a hacky point, I guess, is my first thing.
Oh, about now it. I have to...
Because, to say a movie's not believable, your first point was that it's not believable because of that.
No, I think my point is these things only happen because there's movie stars. This is not something that would interest me at all. The premise of people's different looks... The premise that you'd have...
But that's not it. I mean...
Yeah, but there's a lot of things in the movie about, I can't believe he's with her, or is there nothing in the movie about that?
There's contextual things about it because it's a story about a guy with a politician.
Right. I almost did one of my lozenge things.
That would have been bad.
Yeah. You know what? Here's the thing. I know when I'm out of my depth. I guess I have not made one movie. I think you've noticed this. I haven't made one movie And I haven't written a script, I don't think, for a movie even. But the movies I tend to like have more like men and women. It's not a movie where you meet cute. That's what I don't like.
Right. Well, I mean, that's an element of a romantic comedy, so right away you shouldn't go. Normally I wouldn't go either, but this looked funny enough to spend a couple hours.
But I did actually enjoy the movie with Rogan and was it Katherine Heigl?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that movie. Ken Jeong. That movie I did like a lot.
Yeah.
So let's take what I'm saying with not only a grain of salt. I think that I may have taken some mushrooms or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not magic mushrooms. A snarky
Portobello.
mushroom. What's so weird about me is like, you bring up Seth Rogen. Because of my OCD, all I can think of is he's bringing up Seth Rogen. Remember when you had that fight with Seth Rogen that he couldn't care less about for the rest of his life? I'm a flea. I was a flea on his thing. Well, what was fun when you were bantering with his mom? Oh, you know what this thing that Josh is talking about? You know what this should really be? This should really be another episode of your feelings about Seth Rogen. Since he's saying he went to the movies and enjoyed it, why don't you come in with, did you really like it? Why was it good? And because that's I think it's a little self-sabotage. No, I don't think it's self-sabotage. I think I feel uncomfortable a lot, and so I start talking.
Yeah.
And who how's it help?
All right. Are you done?
Where'd you go see the movie? I want to see is there any good? Did you go to the big one near us?
Yes.
Okay. Is there any great movie theater that's opened up now that I should go to? That's like an IMAX or something incredible.
Not one that I could recommend.
Yeah, I've never been to IMAX.
No.
Are they pretty cool?
They're big. That's about it.
And every movie's called IMAX.
Uh-huh.
Bop, 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 beep, 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 boop. I'm trying to shake off the last thing we talked about.
The Rogan saga.
Now the world's almost exploding.
Yes.
This is
any minute for sure.
It's daily. It's exponential. It can't keep going like this till 2020, and yet it might.
Yes, it might. It's not like Trump's going to look for a calm period, because
that's all he can do. All he can do is start a crisis. But I really have never hated a man more than I hate, because I didn't know Hitler. There's no person I hate more, and I wouldn't hate him so much if we hadn't put him in office or whatever. He was.
Yeah, no. If he didn't matter, he'd be fine.
If he didn't matter, but he bothered me when he was on The Apprentice.
Yeah, well, we've both made jokes about him more than a decade ago.
But we're like one of those countries you make fun of because they're all fucked up and they pick some crazy person to lead their country.
Yes, we're a pumpkin republic.
Well, that's all I wanted to say. I just feel very, very edgy every day about it. I'm trying to. I'm reading an article about this John Bolton.
Yeah,
and
he's like horrible.
He's horrible, and then you realize,
like, he's among the most horrible.
Yeah, and you realize,
and has been for 25 years,
or the whole career long.
Yeah,
and then you say, I really shouldn't have given anything up for George W. I should not have had any kinder feelings for George W. Bush because of Trump, because George W. Bush really steered us in this direction, and his father with Clarence Thomas and these horrible choices, and then his son hated the United Nations. Obviously, it was a slap in the face of the United Nations to appoint this Bolton guy as a recess appointment. So it's just, when you think back, this guy's been horrible for a long time, and now it's off the charts horrible. I don't know what my point is, except maybe
it's horrible.
Yes, thank you.
All right,
you're a great crowd. Every time I've ventured...
Speaking of that, I've signed off on the audio for the album now.
Oh, great!
Yes. So I just got to do artwork, and then it's release date time.
Well, that is... and how long is it? Do we know?
The album?
Yeah.
I think it's 13 tracks and 47 minutes or something.
So when do you think the release is going to be?
I don't know. Depends how long the artwork takes.
Here's what I've learned from...
It seems like the rule of thumb is, 6 years?
Now, the other night, I tweeted about my album.
Yeah.
And the reason why I did it was to
put all that pressure on yourself.
To myself, yeah. That's right. That's what I'm going to do.
Did it work? Did it bait people into going, can't wait to buy it?
No, that's not what it was for. It was for me to put a marker down so that I would not disappoint myself again.
And what did you tweet?
I said either this, by the end of this year or early 2020, the album I've been sitting on for decades will be coming out. Something like that. You know, recalling tweets is not very interesting.
I have a new title for it.
What's that?
6 years less good than now. Yep, it's funny.
What do you think the time period... Oh, God. You know what? You got me the other week, too, when you made fun of and I got so mad at myself because you made fun of my music. You made fun of the idea that I could... we were with Showbiz. We're eating a local thing.
Yeah.
And you started to... I was saying that I came up during the Talking Heads, and that's the time period when I started to play. And you're like, yeah, like you'd ever do something later talking. Yeah, let me hear your Talking Heads. Something like that. That's how I heard it.
I'm sure that's how you heard it. That wasn't the text of it at all.
No, but you were trying. You told me later you were trying to give me the business.
I was giving you the business that once I realized I was bugging you.
No. In fact, I meant to call you and say
you were talking about how you missed out on the CBGB's scene, and I was like, I don't really see you at CBGB's.
Right. So that got me like defensive. And then the other thing was, no, I was going to call you and tell you that that is my Achilles heel. It's so raw, my negative feelings about my own music,
yes,
that it comes to the surface very quickly.
I know.
So I had to actually say, oh, this guy knows that. You can let this asshole. This is what he wants you to do. Oh yeah, I can't wait to hear your REM style music, Andy. So I meant to.
I just wanted you to transfer it out of spite at a certain point.
Oh no, I'm going to do it for real. In fact, I communicated with a friend of mine who's a music. We wrote songs together, and that was fun. You know, everything sounds like, to me, if I say to you, this week I got to an appointment on time, that's a big thing for me. But for everybody else, it should be just, great.
Yeah. It's kind of like the Chris Rock bit.
What's the Chris Rock bit?
I take care of my kids. You're supposed to take care of
is that what his bit is? Yeah. That's very funny. I like that very much.
You were here at 9:02 today. I will note that.
I was here at 9:02. And I was...
might be a record.
That is a record. I've never gotten here at 9.
I don't think so.
No, I don't think I have.
I don't think so.
And I'm also better at not getting stressed out in general. So
that's good. Everything
is much better for me now, except for the parts that aren't good.
Yeah.
I'm pretty happy. I'm relative. How are you feeling recently in terms of feeling good? Are you excited about the album? Are you?
I'm a little bit. I'm in an angsty mode right now. Not about the album, but about what my next thing is. I have this like really deep sort of dready feeling that I have to write something now.
Because you're going to be backed into a financial corner?
Not just because it's like, it feels like the only thing I can do from where I'm at this minute.
Right.
That's productive, you know. Is either write a screenplay I can direct or write some TV pilot thing.
Right.
Both of which I have an idea for.
Oh, that's good.
But the idea of sitting down to write is dread-inducing.
Well, we had an idea for a show.
Yeah.
And I think the other one's dead.
Well, good. Then we can start talking about it.
And I say the other one's dead because I haven't heard anything about it.
Then it's dead.
And in fact, the other part of it is a part of it was going to be me recording a show in England, like in June.
Yeah.
I haven't heard about that.
No.
You know, I'm trying to think about. Do you have this problem? Everyone has this problem. But when people always, because you're doing something that's considered to be fun for a living, people are always asking me, so what's going on? What's coming up? And as soon as they say that, I get dead and slightly dead inside, and I forget what I'm saying, and I feel the need to present my life in a meaningful way.
Right.
Do you get that feeling, or you don't care?
I think everybody in show business has that feeling.
We're in show business?
Or showbiz adjacent. Yeah, no, I think everybody does. I think everyone wants to have the answer to what are you up to. I think that's almost as important as money in this town.
And also, if it's a friend, if it's family or friends you haven't seen in a while, it's always. But I do it too. But I try to do it in a way. I'm not saying I do it better, but so what are you up to? It's just a question that's going to always bring up everybody's insecurities.
Yeah.
Not insecurities, but just like.
But right now it's great. You can say I just started a movie. I've got an album about to come out.
I think I freeze up is what I do.
Yeah.
I freeze. But also,
you don't have to say you've had the album for 6 years. I'm gonna goad you.
I know, but
this fucking thing.
I keep thinking that the running bit of me being so hurt I'm stunned into silence.
It's not good radio. I mean, you really could do something better for radio.
No, wait, hold on a second. This is too big an ask of you that as you're insulting me, that I have to also be entertaining.
You brought it up. That you said your bit of stunned silence isn't working out.
That's true. And for me to acknowledge a bit's not working, that's good.
you never hear that from me.
That's growth. And did anything else exciting happen this week? You went out. It was Mother's Day. I called my mother. We went to San Diego. That's right.
Yeah.
To visit Susan's mom and sister, and we had a very fun time.
Mother-in-law.
And the thing is, from here to San Diego, you always think, maybe I get there in 2 hours, and we haven't been able to do that yet.
Did you take the toll road?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it's shorter
and
better. Yeah. Going down was hard, but coming back was easy, and the sense of accomplishment was overwhelming. And we had a nice meal, a very lovely meal. I'm really into steak.
Yeah. And you can chew it now from the front.
Oh, my God. You never realize, I've invested so much money in my mouth, and I got to say, a lot of times when you get tooth, you say, well, okay, I'm not enjoying my new tooth.
Right.
I'm really enjoying my new teeth.
Excellent.
Because I can lick the back of them.
Oh, nice.
And they're there. Their teeth are there.
Nice.
And I feel the same way about my air conditioner. When people come over.
You can lick the back of it and they're there?
No, but have I opened the door and shown you my new air conditioner at home?
No, because I've only been there once and it was New Year's.
It still seems like it would have been a good holiday thing to do.
I think you did on the tour.
Oh, that's right, on the tour.
Yeah.
I had a drink a couple nights ago. We drank Absolute.
Yeah.
Absolute. It was like cherry stuff, and it was so great. And I realized that vodka is a good way to drink.
Yeah, a lot of people.
I had a couple of cocktails. I didn't wake up the next morning hungover.
No, it's clean burning.
So should I get into it more extensively?
Absolutely, dive in.
So how much do you drink? A quarter of a quart? A half of a gallon?
I pour the bottle until it actually makes the sound goickle, goickle, goickle.
I've never drank so much vodka though that I had to look and see anything go down that much. Really, I'm not a drinker, as you know.
Yeah.
Have you ever drank a whole bottle of vodka? No, we're not. That's not us. No. You could do it, maybe.
No, I've never done that, but I'm trying to think of like stupid teenage binge drinking.
Yeah, I could never get past 4 beers because I just would vomit.
Yeah.
But so, yeah, I've pushed it.
Yeah.
I know I've pushed it because you feel like, it's good.
Right. But no, I have a pretty good, pretty high tolerance, but it's not something that I like to challenge. I don't like being shit-faced.
You don't know how many true crime things. I'm listening to so many true crime things. I'm expecting to get accused of something soon because there's so many. It is actually it's. I know it can't go on like this forever.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's an explosion. Murderville, Murder Town, Stab City. I guess I should stop at Stab City.
You should. When you get the funny third.
And I haven't even listened back to my friend from Australia. And I have to listen to podcasts over and over.
He looks like a good fan, but he's not. He's fair weather.
No, I always have a soft spot in my Schmendenki for him. I don't know what I'm saying. Do you think we should take a break? How are we doing?
No, we got to talk about this movie. Let's do it.
Oh, my God. Finally, we're in bonus time. Why was I shimfering around by asking you about the weather? So this week, we watched
Mikey and Nicky. by Elaine May of Nichols and May fame. Whatever you go first.
I'd like to go first in the sense to tell you, I was thinking as I was driving over here, should I convey to Josh what a fuck up I am, or the things that I do during the week that are kind of a fuck up type thing, or should I just keep it a secret? So I'll tell you. So anyway, I had this thing where I left your house on Monday. I go, yeah, I'm just going to order it from Criterion.
Right.
I never do these things. I never order things that have to be delivered. Susan does it.
Yeah.
She's like loves it. We get oh my God, when did you order that? Yesterday. Mm-hmm. But for some reason I go into procrastination mode and I'll say and worse than that, I engage in magical thinking. I'll just hop on down to the Barnes and Noble.
Right.
I'll go by the Best Buy.
Right.
Now maybe 20 years ago
I'll have Mikey and Nicky.
Yeah, did Mikey and Nicky. So it was crunch time. It was Sunday and it was crunch time.
Wow.
And Saturday was crunch time.
Okay.
So I bit the bullet. Not bit the bullet. I didn't want to see the movie this way, but I just got it on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
So, but I was afraid to tell you that because that you would say, how can you appreciate the cinematography and all? But so it was more like watching a movie on the plane.
Yeah.
But I tried to watch it on my TV too, but it's very grainy.
Yeah, it's kind of grainy anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, a good print is grainy.
I both liked the movie and found the movie painful.
I'm kind of in the same boat.
And I ended up I ended up really kind of liking it in the sense that I think sometimes when I watch a movie, I start to try to figure out when I don't like it.
Right.
And then I figure out why I don't like it. And this had like a sneaking up type thing because you didn't really know exactly completely what was going on. And so John Cassavetes' character became more and more dangerous and weird. And those scenes, that scene where he forces himself on that woman and then he brings Peter Falk into it is like one of the most uncomfortable things I've ever seen.
Yeah. No, it is not a movie that thinks men are great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It is, sort of very low level thugs with low level morality. Yes. And, it's not a glamorous mob movie by any means.
No. And I didn't even think to me, it seemed like a Waiting for Godot type of a feel to it.
It absolutely had that sort of feel, It had the trappings of a comedy, It had the trappings of a Midnight Run or something like that. It had, it felt like that's where it was going to go, but it never got funny. It always just got sort of uncomfortable. And there was funny moments.
Right. There were some lines.
But it wasn't a comedy.
Like when they were wrestling with the bus driver and they go, he's a big guy. Yeah. You could see how that could be somewhat funny, but
and it was
not.
M. Emmett Walsh, who you got to love.
Yeah, that was so great. Also a famous
to have Emmett Walsh and Ned Beatty in the
That's
same
unbelievable.
movie. That's a lot of pasty white in that.
And they were great. And then there's a famous acting teachers in the movie, and I don't remember Sanford Meisner.
Meisner, plays the mob boss.
Yeah. And so that was so I would say that by the end of the movie, I was glad that I watched it, and I was very drawn into the ending of the movie. But like the scenes where it turns out that he really was, these people didn't like Peter Falk or whatever he was trying to play with his head.
Right.
That was like really disturbing and interesting to me that he would try to sell him out.
Yeah.
But did you know what was happening right from the beginning?
I basically knew what was happening. I mean, I knew what was happening as soon as he made that first phone call.
Right.
But there's this tension in this movie because these are two basically lifelong friends who are both basically betraying each other as the movie goes on.
Right.
So you kind of you start to have sympathy for one, and then you start to go, well, no, but he's still doing this horrible thing,
Yeah.
And so, I mean, you want to sort of be Peter Falk's friend.
I did want to be Peter. I thought he was movie. More of a. Do you think he was more of a sympathetic character, or not necessarily?
Well, yes, except for what his goal in the movie was, made him completely unsympathetic.
Right, but then you started to think, well, Cassavetes deserved whatever was going to happen to him.
Did he?
No, I have no idea.
He stole $1,000.
Well, this is where, again, I fall down the job because I can't remember the details are very hard. I have a hard time remembering the details.
Right.
I didn't realize that was we actually knew completely what.
Basically, what had happened. I mean, the movie starts with John Cassavetes freaking out in a hotel room.
Yeah.
After he's done a job with another mobster. Basically, came away with $1,000, fucking over a mob boss, essentially.
Right.
And his partner in that was killed. So he's pretty sure that there's a price out on his head.
Right, and Peter
So
Falk.
he calls Peter Falk, who's also a mobster, but also his lifelong friend. He calls him for help.
And Peter Falk. Oh, well, maybe we shouldn't give that away.
I don't want to give the whole movie away.
Right, there's no reason to. There's no reason to anyway. But Peter Falk, they must have been friends. I was thinking about, hey, he ended up in Columbo. Well, that wasn't a mistake because they must have been friends.
Yeah, they were friends from Cassavetes movies.
Oh,
they were together a lot. Yeah,
I have to say, I haven't seen Cassavetes movies, so I do want to see his movies. But when I've seen him acting in movies, I love him. I think he's great. He's like an interesting actor to me.
She apparently shot like 1.5 million feet of film, which is an unbelievably large amount of film.
Right. She wasn't in the movie, right?
No.
Right.
And it went, more than twice over budget.
Wow.
And apparently she was running like 3 cameras on most scenes. And when you're doing that to catch improvised moments, because if someone you need to get both sides of the.
And that wasn't always done then, right? I mean, that was
no.
Not the first time that was done, but it wasn't always done.
So I think she was just really trying to capture lightning in a bottle moments between them and let them wander all over the place to find those.
Well, once I realized that it wasn't going to be that funny, I had to let myself give up the part that's like, I can't actually say, oh, I want to, she has to write a funny movie because that's ridiculous.
Right.
So I kind of like gave myself over to that. She seems to have quite a mind. I mean, there's a lot of different levels that were going on there that were very personal, not necessarily personal to her life, but they were just so dramatic.
Right.
That they weren't just thrown together, or maybe
there was story and theme throughout the movie, and that's why I think it holds together.
Yeah, even his wife in that the wife.
Yeah,
I don't say that much more. But and all the side characters, the Ned Beatty character.
Will you go to bed? Was a great.
Yes. Okay, that was the last line, right?
Yes.
Okay, I couldn't hear him say it. I had to put closed captioning on. Yes. And what was that in reference to something that he said to him earlier?
He had said it to her.
Oh, yeah.
But because he didn't want it to come to what it came to.
Right.
Falk was great.
So great.
I don't know if I loved that. There was the one joke where I don't know if he was even meant as a joke because it was the character, not Peter Falk, but you almost put my eye out with that bottle. It's like, because he has the glass eye.
Oh, I didn't even hear that. It went right by me.
So overall, it's an interesting. It's this movie that was kind of lost for a long time, and it's just now kind of.
What year was it?
I think it was 1975. So Columbo was already happening when they did this.
And it was it like a controversy around it, or just didn't come out?
There was studio controversy, and I think they ultimately took the final cut away from her because of all the overages and stuff, and so I think they released it with an almost nothing release and then buried it.
Yeah.
And I think she bought it back with somebody at some point from the studio, but she never, it was years and years before a cut that was authorized by her came out. And I think that's what we were watching is her cut.
Yeah, I don't know that for a fact, but
it's there's definitely, the multi-camera thing shows up in some scenes where it's like she had to use some really badly shot, out of focus
in the cemetery places, or
even in interior stuff. There was like a kitchen scene where all the singles of Peter Falk were like blurry, and
I did notice that.
You know, and I think it's just because that was the take she had to use, and therefore, if you're using the Cassavetes side, you got to use the Peter Falk side. And
right. I think it was a movie that I would definitely want to see again. It reminded me a little bit of, although I think Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf is, maybe one of the. It's a great movie. I'm not saying this is. I think it's a more together movie.
It's certainly much more scripted.
It's much more scripted.
Yeah.
So,
It's a play.
I also felt this was kind of a play too, in a way. You know, like some of those scenes, not in a bad way, just like that was her sensibility.
I think, you know, it was, you know, because of it was so on the move, it didn't feel like a play.
Right.
But I think, like you said, in that Waiting for Godot kind of way.
Yeah, where we're going now, where we're going this, now we're moving in this area.
Yeah.
It had that kind of, it had what is it called? What's it called? Homer? All those movies.
Odyssey.
Yeah, all those movies. It's like you're on your journey somewhere, and in this case,
epic, they call
in this case, it was. Well, we don't want to say that. But, the other thing was that I felt like the emotional scene. It wasn't. What when you make emotional scenes that are too much? What's that called? Mawkish? Is that mawkish or no? It's a
melodramatic.
Melodramatic, yeah. Like that scene, I'm still thinking. That's also a measure. Are you thinking about it? I'm still thinking about that scene where they go visit that woman.
Right.
Do you know who she was?
I don't know who the actress was. No.
She was unbelievable.
Yeah, she was great.
And just that you got so much stuff, or could read so much stuff into what their relationship was and how sadistic Cassavetes was, and yet he was able to get people wound up into and just also the whole idea of like thinking of women like, you know, that people you fuck and like she's a whore,
right?
You know, they were really, it was really showing that side of life, which is pretty horrible. Am I not making sense?
No, I'm trying to put it together, but
it's there. I'm not saying I don't use those words, but there was like, obviously it wasn't like, oh, I like this woman, she's attractive and she's going to sleep with me.
No, it is pure utilitarianism with people.
And dangerous rape, and, you know, it had that rape feeling and that violation feeling, and also that feeling of a drunken, like that I got from the movie, that everyone's like on a drunken reverie. Mostly Cassavetes.
Well, Cassavetes is a ticking time bomb from like the opening frame of the movie. Pretty much,
yeah.
You know?
When there was like bullets flying, it looked very realistic. I thought it was very scary. It was done well.
Yeah, no, I thought so too.
Yeah, okay.
I thought the violence wasn't movie violence.
No. And the whole movie did have a realistic feel to it that kind of drew you in.
It definitely had the 70s New York.
Yeah.
Grit to it, you know.
Are those real movies?
What?
The Laughing Policeman?
I don't know. I think I've
heard of that movie. What was it? Yeah. Anyway, I say great. Mixed feelings. It felt long sometimes.
It's not a well-paced movie.
Right.
But it's worth seeing. It's worth seeing Falk and Cassavetes. It's worth seeing how good an actor Peter Falk is too.
Yeah, I know.
You know, and the like, I think of him as like an older Joe Pesci almost. Like he has that charming,
right,
sort of thing, but he also has that ability to just get scary as shit, you know, when he's trying to get the cream from the diner guy.
Yeah.
You know,
that was an amazing scene. Right.
He has this volatility that's buyable that you can.
It was like it
reminded me a lot of his character in, did you ever see All the Marbles? Where he's like this wrestling promoter for this tag team of two women wrestlers.
No.
Really gritty kind of movie. Not a great movie, but a great Peter Falk performance, I thought.
I don't think I've seen a lot of things. I know In-Laws. I mean, everything I've seen him in, he's been great. Was he in In-Laws?
Yeah, the original. Yeah. But that's another thing. I mean, that was another one that I was hoping this would feel like. It would be like the In-Laws.
Right. Well, that's where if you are going in there to see a dark comedy, it's not a dark comedy.
No, it's a slightly funny drama.
Yeah. Yeah. And in fact, she wasn't playing the comedy, although maybe she thought it was kind of the bus driver and that kind of thing. Good.
There was there was an irony to the whole movie too. Just in their relationship was ironic at all times just because of the undercurrent plot of the movie. But yeah, I would, if you're a film head, definitely see it. If you're a Peter Falk or Cassavetes fan, see it.
If you like moving images, see it.
But if you don't, if you're easily bored,
Yeah, that's what I would say is if you have to, you say, I got to see a 4-star, well, fuck the 4-star. Don't get your hopes up. I say in general, don't get your hopes up for anything, probably, is a better way to go into things. Don't get your expectations too wrapped up.
Yeah.
Because the greatest movies in the world, people didn't know they were the greatest movies in the world when they went into the theater. So it's almost I think it makes it hard for sometimes.
Although that's true and not. I mean,
don't listen to me.
Well, I'm just saying that when a great movie comes out,
everybody knows
there's
about
people
it.
who see it opening weekend, and then everyone who sees it after that.
I don't think there's any validity to what I'm saying.
Has hype.
No validity at all. I think maybe opening night in the 30s.
Right. Okay. Should we take a break?
I think we should.
All right. What should we play? I'll play. Here's a piece of stand-up that didn't go on the album. This is this is something a lot of Cinematic Titanic fans may have seen on the road.
Oh.
It's WADD is the name of the bit.
Okay.
And hopefully we won't get sacked for any music rights.
Oh.
All right, you guys are fun. I'm going to give you one last thing tonight. Thank you. Well, give you like I'm a fucking Santa. I like you because you have an attention span. That's not a given these days at all, And every stimulus is getting shorter and shorter. Just life is just, so I admire that you've stuck with it. Even radio stations now, they don't have formats anymore. They're dropping that. We have these Jack FM stations now that just play we play whatever we want, whenever we want to. Fuck you, Jack FM. Wow. We don't even have the attention span for a format anymore? I guess the next logical step will be the radio station that just plays your favorite parts of your favorite songs. WADD, just your favorite parts. Hey, mama said the way you move gon' make you sweat, gon' make you groove. Doom doodle dee dee doom doodle dee dee doom doodle dee dee doom. Doom doodle dee dee doom doodle dee dee doom doodle dee dee doom. She lies and says she's in love with him. Can't find a better man. WADD will be right back after this part of a word from our sponsor. My pillow is made right here in my home state of Minnesota. And we're back with another 40-second part block. Chickadee China, the Chinese chicken. You have a drumstick and your brain starts ticking. Once there was this kid who got into an accident and couldn't come. On a boat and on a plane, they're coming to America today. WADD, your favorite song parts from the 60s, 70s, and hey, look, a squirrel. Thank you so much. I'm J. Elvis Weinstein. Thank you for coming out tonight.
And we're back. Why do I can't come back? You know what? You're going to have to come back from now on. I sound like an idiot. And we're back. What am I back from? I didn't go anywhere. That was very funny. I enjoyed that.
Thank you. It's hacky. It's not a bit I'm proud of.
It's not hacky.
It's not a bit I'm proud of, but it's a bit that works always. And I do it like 4 times a year now.
Well, also, it's in your wheelhouse. You love to sing. More than anybody I've ever met, you get right into you capture the meat of every. So, in fact, I think Jose Feliciano would be afraid to meet you because he'd go,
You know what I would tell him?
What?
Don't be discouraged. The man, he ain't so hard to understand.
Ha-ho.
Hee-haw.
Hee-haw. So that was very enjoyable.
Thank you.
And you know what I think? I heard we're going to go. Heard maybe we might go right into questions, letters.
I think we should.
Bing, 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 boom, boom. Potato, tomato. Is this too long to have this as a sting? You say tomato. I say tomato. Run it by the people.
Alrighty. Andy Levy says, why won't the cowards Andy Kindler and J. Elvis Weinstein have Andy Levy on the pod when he's in L.A. the first week of June?
This has been a running joke that I've been doing with him, where I explained to him on Twitter
that we don't have
any guests.
Right.
And then he ignores that and goes right on, and I love it. And I hope it continues on.
That's why.
Did you know it was a bit that he was referring to, or you didn't think he was like, as Andy Levy thinks, doesn't know how the show works?
No, I really didn't think that.
You don't respond to tweets like I do. I get tight in the throat. But the good news,
although I do think that perhaps Andy Levy believes he's a format breaker.
He told me he was an influencer.
I think he might be.
And the other good news there is that he's coming out in June, and I love him. And
I'd love to meet in person.
You haven't met him?
No.
Okay, that's going to be something we're going to put together.
All right.
I sound like I'm offering something larger than it is.
Chris Olson says, any thoughts about boycotting comedy venues in Georgia, Alabama, etc.? Loved Miss Kirkman's take that argued that the boycott doesn't treat everyone equally. Spirals of thought, gentlemen?
What do you mean? What is she saying?
She was basically clapping back, if you will, at someone who suggested that she should boycott Georgia,
okay.
and her going, all that would do would hurt me.
Yes.
And the people who might be, like a liberal voice to come to their place.
I can't see Well, the only time that you boycotted, if they did, like when the thing happened in North Carolina and they had a concentrated thing and they started to all lose things at one point.
Yeah, I mean, I think institutional boycotts are different than an individual performer.
Yeah.
You know, and Beyonce boycotting is different than Andy Kindler boycotting, you know.
Is she boycotting something?
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
It takes someone of that status. Otherwise, it's just a fucking ego trip.
Well, certainly. If I made a big announcement about how I refuse to play the South, right. I don't think anyone's going to react to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, because of what's happening in Georgia, I will not be going to Birmingham, Alabama,
right.
where I would bomb.
Right.
I don't think so, Knoxville, Tennessee. I'm very impressed with my demeanor tonight.
Are you?
No. I think I'm better than normal.
I'm at peace with your demeanor tonight. How about that?
You've made peace with it.
We are moving.
We are moving.
Chaotic Neutral says, are there any other commercials on the MSNBC heavy rotation that you enjoy? I think the one for FedEx with the couple that makes the cookies is kind of neat.
I don't know that one. Do you?
It's like a reverse engineering thing where they start the commercials going, our millionth cookie. Then they flashback more to, this is a pretty big order. We got enough. And flashback, hey, we sold 2 dozen. Flashback to, hey, we could sell these. Flashback to them getting a mixer going, we don't bake.
Right.
So,
it sounds good. What, is it for MSNBC?
I apparently soaked it up quite well.
But, I mean, is it advertising MSNBC?
Yeah, it's on MSNBC. It's financial planning of some sort, I think. No, it's FedEx, apparently.
Oh, FedEx, right. No,
it says Chaotic Neutral.
But what I don't want to see is I don't want to see any more Rachel Maddow asking questions because that doesn't make me want to watch.
What would that sound like?
And how was that? Am I getting it right? She does that every time. I go, before we begin, please tell me how good I was at my intro.
Right. Now I wanted you to do the role.
What's that?
The Rachel Maddow role. What does that sound like?
So what does that say? Her role?
Oh, fuck, man. Never mind.
What's the Rachel Maddow role?
Nothing. I was trying to cue you up to do a shtick, and you don't even have it in you.
Is there a stick?
Yes.
Oh. She says everything 4 times.
Torben Rolfson.
You're getting snitty like Mueller.
Yeah. I'm snitty.
No,
yes, I'm snitty like Mueller.
No, but he's not really snitty. That's just what bars say.
I know.
Right.
Torben Rolfson says, any thoughts on the moment in Toronto last night? Kawhi Leonard shot. That was a fantastic game. That was a great game.
I missed
all the playoffs are pretty.
I'm starting to get into them now.
There was a lot of great series in the second round, and now we're down to 4 teams, all of whom I kind of like.
I am going to watch now more. So that okay, was the score 90-90 or 90-89? Was that a 3-pointer at the end?
No, it was
2-pointer.
It was a 2-pointer when they were tied with 4 seconds.
Okay, so the thing that makes you feel better about that is that there's all this chance involved, but it wouldn't have. It's an amazing play, and also they wouldn't have necessarily won Philadelphia. I mean, they wouldn't have lost if they didn't get that ball in. That's what I meant to say. Because sometimes you can feel bad if something is that quirky.
They would have gone to overtime if it did.
We would have gone to overtime, yeah. But also, it is. They do, in general, say that that's indicative of a soft touch when it bounces around a lot. Like,
it was indicative of a high arc.
Yeah. That was fun. I don't think Toronto's been gone that far. They haven't won a championship, right?
They have not won a championship.
Yeah, I love Toronto. I love the city of Toronto.
They have been to the Eastern Conference Finals before, though.
Yeah, I think in the year 2000 they said.
No, they lost twice against LeBron, I think.
Oh, I heard the wrong stuff then. But they're a great city, and they root for their people up there. So I'd like to see them win. Not the whole thing, though. I don't know. They're going up against who? Against...
it's Toronto, Milwaukee, and Golden State and Portland.
Golden State's going against Portland now, right?
Yes.
That's going to be a good series.
Yeah.
And who are you rooting for, Golden State?
No, I'm kind of rooting for Portland.
You think Portland has a chance?
I think they do. Kevin Durant's out. He'll be out for a couple games.
Oh, he got injured?
They both got very powerful backcourts. So I think Golden State will win, but I kind of am rooting for the underdog in that one. But I still kind of like Golden State. So
I don't know. I just can't.
You had me at I don't know.
Okay. I don't think I can't get into Golden State for some reason. Well, I haven't gotten into the sport, so I have to get my...
Golden State plays beautiful basketball, and I love Steve Kerr, so...
Yes, that's true. I do love him. He used to be in Chicago?
He played for Chicago.
Chicago, yeah. See, that was when I knew things.
He also played for the Spurs.
Oh.
And he also played for the Suns before that. But that's beside the point.
But that's something different.
Zach Spijones, 123. Today I finished watching Tim Robinson's I Think You Should Leave. It got me thinking, what sketch shows stayed consistently good throughout their run? My vote is for Mr. Show.
I don't know the thing he's referring to.
It's a Netflix sketch show.
Have you watched it?
I watched a few episodes of it. Yeah, it's funny. I mean, it's one of those sort of stream of consciousness sketch shows where everything's just jammed up. Each sketch is jammed up against the next.
Right. You know, the thing about it is that this is just my own life experience.
There's probably more shit jokes than you would like, but
right.
Nonetheless, there's a lot of
I don't like
stuff.
any. I'm sorry. I'll accept it. I haven't watched any sketch show like so much that I've seen every episode.
Yeah.
So I kind of go by my own life. So I think SCTV is still my favorite show of the sketch shows. And I still love Kids in the Hall, and I love Saturday Night Live. What am I missing?
Not necessarily the news. Mad TV.
Saturday Night Live. Something happened with the writing this year, though. It was not good.
Oh, see, that I was going to go Saturday Night Live. They've never had a downtime. I don't know. I mean, I think Monty Python did fall off at the end once Cleese left, and I think that.
Do you think the Mr. Show was the most?
I didn't watch enough Mr. Show to judge it, but
yeah,
but
I loved it, but I didn't watch it.
I thought Kids in the Hall was always funny, and Monty Python was always funny to me, and SCTV was always fun, but I definitely think like SCTV, started to wane in the Tony Rosato years,
Yeah. Well, I don't think there's any show that hasn't waned unless they just said, we're done. Cut it off.
Yeah. But I think sketch comedy is a hit or miss thing. So
it's hard to
if you can get Portlandia was really funny.
Oh, I forgot Portlandia. Yeah, I would say Portlandia. I think Portlandia in some ways is my favorite because the idea of putting it in a city that has some reality to it made it more. I mean, I'm sure everything got used up, but still they were able to make you. Sometimes with sketch shows, you're kind of amped up as you're watching it, and so you have to kind of like get into the mood to watch it.
Right.
So if it's more like a regular life, which I think they tried to do with that show,
well, they created a world for it, much like SCTV did, as it all existed in one universe at least, which...
Right, but the SCTV, I always thought that wasn't as strong, the station and all that stuff.
Yeah.
The city of Portland, I thought, was a really good backdrop for so many different types of things that they could...
So you're saying Portlandia is better than SCTV?
No.
All right.
Just the angle of that, the SCTV part where they were the news station, I didn't really, it wasn't as strong to me as Portlandia being a town of wackiness.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It's not something I'm upset about.
I thought Guy Caballero was a funny...
no, yeah, he was great. Everything that they did was great.
Dan March says, which role or appearance in your co-host's history would you most like to have done yourself? I'd do the Letterman stuff that Andy did. I'd take all of Andy's Letterman experiences, and even the pogo stick I'd do.
I would.
That wouldn't be as funny, but
I would take all of the Mystery Science Theater. How could you not want to be part of that through cinematic?
You really want to go through what I went through?
No, I don't. I don't want to. But I'm saying, like,
see, I took the pogo stick. I took the bad with the good.
Right, but being part of a seminal thing like that.
Yeah.
Oh, and Freaks and Geeks. Right? I mean, that's like history that you were on a show. But I think it's one of the. I'm a huge fan of that show, and also what that show represented. Like, I mean, because I knew Paul a little bit. I just felt like he was like, it was so exciting to watch it happen and to capture. It seemed like a revolutionary show to me. Like not revolutionary, like I've never seen this before, but they were really. You know more than I do about it, but it seemed like a thing that resonated. There was like they were really in that world.
Yeah, I think it was a special show. I do, and I do think it was revolutionary in the sense of sort of feeling the indie filmness of TV before it became that way on a more widespread version, and
just having characters that aren't sitcom wacky.
Right.
You know, I know it was a 1 hour, but just the fact that they were able to have such a range of characters. I love Sam Levine. I love all those people on that show. And the person that you love a lot is also, I also do agree that she's great in other things.
Linda Cardellini.
Yeah.
Mark Thompson says, assume this will be one of hundreds of requests, but how did the MyPillow guy break the layoffs to his employees?
How did he? Mr. Pillow? What's happening?
Well, I have good news and bad news.
All right.
The good news is my company is going to do very well. The bad news is you'll be getting severance pillows. You won't be getting the bed pillow. You'll just be getting the twin size, of course.
No money, no severance pay?
No, the severance pillows, yeah. And we appreciate all your hard work. Now please leave.
I don't even know this story. What happened?
He laid off like 150 workers.
Recently?
Yeah, this week.
Is it because it's not
and
selling?
And about 150 people forwarded me the news story.
Well, does that mean his company's not doing well, or he's just getting...
I think he's retooling the factory for my wide range of products. I make sheets now. I make a bed pillow. I make regular pillows.
That's why I love the way he says, that's why I came up with this pillow.
I'm firing my crack staff. Those are two things.
He really does, though, like to make it seem as if he discovered the space program. Oh, I worked for... Oh, this is unbelievable.
He did make it on the album, by the way.
That's good.
Joe DeLuca says, as a follow-up to the excellent I Need You to Kill, thank you, follow Andy on tour in East Africa, working title, Is It Spicy?
Yeah. I don't think I'd make it through one meal in, like, Gambia, because I had friends who were from Gambia, and their pepper in college, their pepper was a different... I mean, that's not pepper. Our pepper's not pepper.
Right.
And you would cry, you would bleed from orifices.
Oh, it hurts the Gambian spice.
Nope, that ship is sailed.
Don't give me any Gambian pepper. Is there any Gambian pepper in this, sir? I don't know. It's just normal Gambian stew. Mad City Architect says, Josh, I love your song, 7 Steps Down. Thank you. It brought a tear to my eye each episode you played it. Perhaps it's a Midwestern thing. Anyways, I want to call on Spiral Nation with musical talent to cover that song and send it in. Sure, I'd love to hear that.
Yeah.
Mad City Architect.
I also agree with him on that song. It's got zets.
Thank you.
Or heart.
I had a heart zets just last week. I had to go to the ER. Mad City Architect also says, Andy, we're going to need you to make just as moving a song about your mother and Parkinson's.
She's a great lady who's moving kind of slow. I'm doing it Adam Sandler style. Oh, little lady. Oh, my mom, I don't want her ever to go. I don't know. As soon as I got into the Adam Sandler part, I couldn't think of anything else. Mama, why did you drop that plate?
And here's to you, Mrs. Parkinson's.
Here's to you, Mr. Parkinson's.
I read that Doris Day, who died today, was up for Mrs. Robinson at one point.
Really?
Which would have just been radically different.
I cannot believe this is. I felt very, very bad that I did not know that she was still alive.
Yeah. Well, she was 97.
Right.
And she hadn't made a movie in 50 years. So.
That's amazing, though. I don't know. What's amazing about it? I mean, what am I, a Yule Hauser for the aged? That's amazing. Now you live
you're still alive?
Unbelievable.
That's amazing. Wow, you're still breathing.
So you made it to 96, and now you're 97. That's fantastic.
Wow. Oh, there she goes.
Oh,
that's fantastic. The way she slipped away like
people
that.
are living longer.
Are you decomposing?
That's fantastic. Are you getting this, Lou? Lou. You know, Lou ended up driving a car into the farmer's market. No, I'm just kidding. Why I said that. Ouch.
Darren M. Crilly says, every time someone writes in with a question about the NHL playoffs, you guys pretty much dismiss it and start talking about the NBA instead. Meh, you're hockey bigots. Meh.
Is that what he writes?
Yes.
Well, it's true. It's true, but I would thought you knew more about hockey than I did. But apparently, both of us, we like hockey. We can't keep up with everything, people. We're only two men.
My resistance to hockey is directly related to the fact that I grew up in Minnesota, a hotbed of hockey.
Right.
And at least when I was growing up, it was a subculture of total fucking meatheads playing hockey. So
I mean, a lot of violence and stuff.
Just meatheads.
Are you saying that about Canada?
Just
saying that about
mullet-wearing meatheads.
First of all, I can't skate, and I don't like going fast and hitting things. Can you skate?
I don't skate well, no. Don't have the ankles for it.
That's my excuse.
Yes. But it was just, the hockey culture wasn't something that I brushed up against with well as a kid. And
is it big in Minnesota?
It's huge, yeah. And
hockey in Minnesota too, or just ice skating and things?
No, hockey. It's like one of the hockey meccas of the world.
Well, they're not one of the original 8, though, right? Thank you. I'm very smart. Blowhardy. Gets a little blowhardy in there.
Blow hockey.
Original 6, I meant to say.
Yeah.
Which was Detroit, Boston, the Rangers, Pittsburgh, Chicago, Blackhawks.
I think you said that already.
It's an easy way to put me down.
And was it Pittsburgh or was it Philadelphia?
I bet it was Philadelphia, too. It's 6. Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, Detroit, Chicago, the Rangers.
And Chicago again.
Yeah.
All right. Tweet Bahara says, guys, I owe you both an apology. My tweet last week, breakfast tacos, was misleading. Since Josh says he rarely eats breakfast, so he'd never try them, I was saying that they're available all day long. My bad, like the kids say.
You know, you said...
I think that I don't think with this taco controversy needs a third week.
I'll tell you something.
I really don't.
I think it's. I think that that tweet is starting to take on some of my OCD properties.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. And it's contagious.
It is.
I'd like to apologize for everything that happened in this podcast.
When you leave, I can't stop thinking about how I don't care about what you think.
What?
It's amazing.
You have a lot of anger or something.
I have something. I don't think it's anger.
Are we both turning into Groucho? We're both turning into depressed Groucho.
Right.
Yeah. Is that a pen in your hand, or is it you're not feeling well? Are you excited to be?
Dave says your show has changed the way I think. When I see a kid, I think, is it Licey? When I'm looking at the house, I wonder, is it Micey? My question is, if I start saying these things out loud, will it make my life dicey?
I think you're safe doing it.
I think so.
But you have been. It changed your life.
I know when Andy goes shopping, he's frequently asked, "Is it pricey?"
And the Jew. I don't know if they ever had the Jews in commercials. Like, oh, I want a good deal. And they probably always steered away from it. But I notice in commercials now, that they don't have Jews be like frugal. It's always the woman. I don't know when this happened, and my wife likes it because it's free, and there's not just one commercial. It's like Angie's List and a couple of others where they go, and the wife likes it because she's greedy. She's cheap.
She's a penny pincher.
And that's what they used to say about the Jews.
Right.
And now everyone's happy. And my point is, stop it, people.
Tom the Tom says maybe you should have a Patreon in which the patrons get to listen to your on-air arguments. Well, usually you do hear our on-air arguments. I just happened to cut that one out, and then Andy decided, let's talk about it the next week. So.
Well, you know how I pick at a scab.
Yeah, I know.
I think the bonus stuff has to be
scabs are like bubble wrap to you.
I store them in a thing?
Yes.
I think it is. That also assumes that there's footage we're leaving out of the show that people would want to hear.
Well,
maybe.
Generally not. But that was one, I think. People wouldn't have enjoyed the argument. It wasn't a fun argument.
Yeah. It wasn't like
pissiness in both directions, basically.
No, it wasn't. But let's do it anyway.
All right. Extremely Legal and Incredibly Cool says, do these questions ever get tiresome? Never.
I actually go through different things with it.
Yeah.
If I'm in a mood where I say, what's new and let me be open, then I'm good. I don't know. That was a bad answer. So maybe I am getting tired of it. I like it.
Guy Incognito, who do you have winning the NBA Finals? As a diehard and long-suffering Milwaukee Bucks fan, I hope you'll lend your support towards my humble hometown. Also, can we hear Joseph Mengele offering artistic criticism to Jerry Lewis, please? And thanks. Well, I've seen your show, and I find you very Jewy. I think if you were to take some of the Jewiness out, it might have a wider appeal. Well, that's very interesting for a man who experiments on twins. With the twin experiments. Hello, Bobby.
You're gonna get a lot of blowback on your Jerry Lewis and the operation of twins. I'm rooting for Milwaukee. Are you rooting for Milwaukee?
I've seen you with Dean Martin, and I think if I were to keep either of you alive, I would go with Dean Martin.
That character, see how that lasts with you?
Huh?
That lasts with you, that character in that movie.
I'm Dr. Joseph Mengele.
And the kid, the crazy kid.
Bobby, it's me, Dr. Joseph Mengele.
I like it. It would be fun to see Milwaukee win, maybe. I'm
all for Milwaukee. I definitely will send. I think Giannis is great. But Giannis versus Kawhi is going to be a great series.
I know what you just said.
Our people love basketball.
What, Jews?
No, spiralers. Constantly with the more basketball talk.
More Jew talk.
Yes.
Well, you know what? Next year, I've talked to Josh. We're going to be breaking down the Sweet 16 next year.
No, we're not.
So listen to the show early in January as we record 2 hours of me squeaking a sneaker on the floor.
Tweet
I made you laugh for a second.
You did. Tweet Bahara says, homework idea, the documentary to the Devil and Daniel Johnston about the Austin musician / artist working through mental illness. It's really well done, and my wife and I are in it.
Oh, I would like
I've seen the doc. It's a very good doc. I'll have to go back and look for you.
You've seen it?
I have.
Oh, okay. Well, I want to see it.
See it.
What's it called?
The Devil and Daniel Johnston.
Done and done.
Ben Stone says, hello, Josh and Andy. Hi, Ben. I have a writing / creative process question for you. Do you find that your mood going into a work session affects what you're working on? Or do those feelings go away once your attention is focused on the task at hand? Thanks. Love the show. I don't feel that my mood necessarily affects what I'm working on, because my mood is always dread before I start working.
Oh, okay.
So, but I don't carry it, the dread only continues if I'm not working well that day. But I can have some really good days with a bad attitude, and I can have some bad days when I'm totally gung-ho. So
right.
Ultimately, if I'm working on a project, the project has its own tone.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you snap into once you start working.
I'm trying to generally pay less attention to how I'm feeling because I know that so much, and it's very hard, but so much of my life is like obsessing about how I feel.
Right.
So I think that, and that sets it, and it, sometimes I've been feeling great before a set. Almost always if I'm feeling great before a set, I'm not going to probably have a bad time. So it sometimes does work most of the time when I'm feeling good,
right.
But you can't always feel that way.
No.
You know, that's the thing that I have to accept, you know, or in general, especially like when you're doing like podcasts,
right?
You know, I try to do that thing where I took 2 Adderall and psyched myself up.
Yeah.
But you can't, it doesn't always work.
It doesn't always work. David Gogo says, opinions on ELO touring. Would you go? Do you give a fuck? I like ELO. I don't think I would go. I would pay big bucks to go see them at this point. I did see Jeff Lynne at the concert for George. But I don't think I know a lot of people who saw ELO at the Hollywood Bowl last year and thought it was great, but I don't love the music enough to go spend the night.
I'm more familiar with their music through Randy Newman's I Love That ELO.
Yeah.
And also,
that doesn't actually make you familiar with their music.
And also Jeff Lynne's work in the Wilburys album.
Yeah.
So I don't even really know. I've heard their stuff,
right.
And I can't remember. I think I liked it, but I don't know. I don't. The answer is I don't think I go see him.
Okay. Michelle Weiscarver said I should have known that you guys would discuss the Louis C.K. at Acme thing before you got to my question last week asking you about the Louis C.K. thing at Acme. I can always count on you to discuss the important stuff. Thank you, gentlemen, as always.
Well, thank you, Michelle, but I didn't even know we were going to discuss it.
No,
that
he was
a
holding
surprise.
back. Bandwagon Jerk says, as a podcaster myself, I'm always curious what folks use to record their shows, especially shows like yours that have very little background noise. What kind of mics, mixer, and or software are you using to record the show? I am using what seems to be the industry standard for podcasting, which is the Zoom recorder. I'm using the H5, which only has 2 inputs. That's why we don't have guests. But they make, I think the H6 has at least 4 XLR inputs. So that's a little hard disk recorder. It records to a memory card, and we're using Shure SM58 mics, which is sort of the mic of everything I do in life. It's, you know, it's
that's your favorite mic in general.
It's the standard comedy club mic. It's the standard music bar gig mic. It is the workhorse of amplification. And while it's not probably the best recording mic.
You mean for this kind of thing or in general?
Just in general, it's not, you know.
Oh, I see. It's a performance mic.
You don't see him in studios.
No,
generally.
then you see like a fancy.
But because I'm so comfortable with how this mic performs and where my mouth should be in relation to the mic.
You're used to it.
And you are too, you know.
Sometimes, right?
But you know, when you're on mic, you know where you know how close you need to be for a 58, and so that's why I chose them for this.
Am I doing less?
No, you still do. Plenty.
Fuck.
You also do a loud smack, but I take a lot of them out.
What's the smack? Oh, oh my God, that sounds like a Dennis Miller type thing.
And then. And software, I don't actually use any software to record the show. I go directly to the Zoom and then edit on software.
You edit on the Final Cut thing, or the?
No, a lot of times I jump back and forth, but a lot of times I'll just do it on GarageBand
Because it's easy.
It's easy, and I'm sending it off to Alex to actually master.
When you say it's easy, I mean it's easy for you. I still have problems.
I wouldn't hand it over to you, probably. Television Savalis says, "Are there any?"
I like that.
Are there any conspiracy theories you buy into?
Well, because I had lunch with Tweet Bahara, he's into the Kennedy assassination, and he got him a little bit more interested in it again because this one book was the book was called Case Closed, and he's saying like that guy was kind of that's the one I still can't let go of.
Yeah,
in a way. What do you like?
I don't have any that are like for real. You know, I don't have any. I mean, I have like I think some issues with, you know, Facebook, Amazon.
Yeah,
you know, they're. But I don't think that's a conspiracy theory. I think that's, you know,
yeah,
evidenced.
Well, I buy into.
I mean, I think my thing with the Kennedy assassination is that having been there on that site, I go, it's not that hard a shot.
That's what I felt too when I was in the window. But I think there's so much huzzarai from all the other directions. I don't know. I really don't know. But that's the one I want to go back and forth. That's the one I want to believe is true. The current conspiracy is maybe the most interesting. What's happening now?
Yeah.
But I don't know, when you call it conspiracy, I don't believe, I mean, the ones that are obviously, the ones that I find disturbing are the ones like 9/11. There's no way that George W. Bush engineered anything.
But yeah, no, I don't buy that. I don't buy chemtrails. I don't buy anything.
We don't buy, wasn't there a movie made about the fake landing and like with Kubrick it was like
Capricorn 1, it was called, with O.J. Simpson was one of the stars of that.
Yeah, I don't think.
No, it's Kubrick is who they said was the director of.
Oh, but there was a movie called Room something or other where they all talked about
Room
different
44 or something, but I don't think that was a moon conspiracy. That was.
Also, I thought that there was the James Earl Ray thing. I don't know, but I know that the FBI was fucking with him constantly and knew what hotel he was at. But it could have been a James Earl Ray.
It's not hard to imagine a Southern man taking out Martin Luther King.
The ones that are harder are like if Sirhan, that someone could be programmed. Sirhan was programmed. I don't know about those things.
Right.
That's the Manchurian Candidate type of deal.
Right. Dan Wade says, hey guys, I'm finally seeing Avengers Endgame tomorrow. Has there ever been a movie somebody spoiled for you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think, I can't think of anything specifically. I've spoiled myself on things by not staying away from Twitter while I'm recording a tennis thing. Or is that what he's asking?
He's saying, has there ever been a movie someone spoiled for you?
Can't think of one.
Like, it's his sled! As you're going.
That's the classic. Rosebud was his sled, which I heard in a Peanuts cartoon once. So, yeah.
I saw a production of Van Frank that was so bad that by the third act, the Nazis come in and the audience yells, "She's in the attic!"
I had heard that one with Pia Zadora in the lead.
Okay, fair enough. Stand By Your Man says, what was your most recent odd encounter with a complete stranger?
I actually had a very good encounter. It wasn't odd. I met this.
Maybe that is odd in this day and age.
I met this James Matthews in England when I went over there the last time, and he's a very eccentric character. But I immediately was drawn to him, and he was odd, but I was drawn to that, and it was very much fun. And we're still emailing.
Yeah.
So that was that. But I can't think of. Have you met anybody bizarre? A little bit out there.
I haven't had one recently that sticks out of my craw.
I've met many odd people. I always see people in the world that look like Daniel Klaus characters.
Yeah.
Which I'm amazed. I go, he's really drawing from actual people. Don't listen to me.
I don't know who Daniel Klaus is.
8-Ball and Ghost World and...
Oh, okay.
Oh, I thought everyone knew who he was. I apologize.
It's all right. Greg Kelly says, James Mason was a big fan of old game shows, but forgot the name of the host of The Price is Right when chatting with Foster Brooks. Can you imagine?
Well, Foster, I was watching the most interesting show this morning where people would actually bid upon everyday grocery items. And there was such a charming host, but I can't seem to recall his name. Well, Jim, I'm thinking it's Bob. Oh, it's Drew Carey now.
Boom.
Boom.
Boom. The only thing that was missing from that was you being paid for it.
The only thing that was missing from my Price is Right bit was Seth Dick III says, I've been reading a lot about the use of non sequiturs. When you think of a squirrel, is it gray or brown?
Ah, that was his non sequitur.
It is, but it's also a question.
I think of gray.
I think of gray too, but all the ones in my yard for the last 20 years are brown. So
Isn't that crazy in a way?
Minnesota squirrels are gray, though.
Oh, they are?
Yeah.
You're always bragging about your Minnesota. How come our squirrels can't be gray?
We do duck, duck, gray duck there, though, as opposed to duck, duck, goose.
Really?
Yes. One state in the union.
You also say open stage.
That's true. Don McCoy says, have you all seen The Naked City, an early police procedural movie that is quite good despite its disappointingly misleading title?
I've heard of it and I've seen pieces of it, but I don't know anything about it.
I've never seen it, no. But we might, could consider that for future. We don't have one for next week yet. I don't think it's Naked City, though.
No, I don't think we can't just go by.
No, and I never did come up with who. There was our listener, so feel free to write in and I'll give you credit, but it was you who first put Mikey and Nicky on our radar, and then recently it's been on radar again. But so tell me who you are, because I know you tried hard to get us to watch that movie. Enlightened Misanthrope says, have you guys thought about Judgment at Nuremberg for homework? I've seen it more than once. It's a fantastic movie, and some of the things that are going on now, it's rather applicable. I certainly think the discussion after would be interesting to listen to.
I haven't seen it.
No?
Is it great?
It's good.
Have you seen enough Nazi stuff for now?
I don't know if I mean, we could put that on the list. I would watch it again, but...
Did we decide we're not going to watch Downfall because everyone's seen it?
Well, and you've seen it.
Yeah, I've seen it. It's better than you. That's what gives me the leg up.
That's right.
I can pre-write the thing.
Mouth Almighty says, hey guys, love the stand-up clips. How about some vintage Josh and Andy stand-up? Evergreen Smethergreen, we will ignore any Tip O'Neill and Iran-Contra references, etc. I was actually looking for something old. I'll look some more, but like most of my really old stuff is like on VHS. And I just haven't transferred shit.
I'll do it as soon as I finish working on the music stuff. Then,
yes,
hard to work on. They don't. They used to run things was on like an evening at the Improv and things like that. But luckily, there were no cameras around when there were cameras, but people didn't have them that much to capture early horrible sets.
Dana Schwartz says, Josh, when you did Gilbert's podcast, was he actually in the room with you and Frank, or was he there electronically? He seems to be all over the country. No, he and Frank were in a room together in New York, and I was in a room in L.A. And
I didn't even know that. You never even said that.
Yeah, I did.
That's pretty cool. Oh, they're always doing it there. Oh, sometimes they come out for trips. They did shows out here.
Did they?
Once, I think. And Montreal, too.
Tom Brazil says, was at home Friday night watching The New Negroes when I spotted one Andy Kindler as the notary. Made me laugh out loud.
Yeah, I forgot to plug that. Another thing I forgot to plug.
That's Baron Vaughn.
Baron Vaughn and Open
New
Mike
Tom
Eagle.
Servo.
Ah, yeah, that was a lot of fun to do. I haven't seen it yet because I
haven't seen it either, but I will.
That's how I
watch
roll.
Jim Meehan says, just wanted to say how much I like 7 Steps Down. If you haven't seen The Long Good Friday, 1980, might be a good movie to review. There's a decent uncut copy on YouTube.
The Long Good Friday. I haven't heard of that one.
I've heard of it, and I don't know it.
We'll put it in the thing.
Yoshi Yamamoto.
And I agree with 7 Steps Down. Yoshiyama. Maybe it's just... That was my impression of Forster Brooks.
It jumped right out. Yoshi says, it was last year I found out I have some Jewish ancestry, both Sephardic and Ashkenazi, from my mom, and while I was never bar mitzvahed, between you two, David Feldman and Sam Cedar, I feel like I'm getting a Jewish education. Also, when will we see both of you on Feldman?
I've heard, I haven't been on Feldman. Maybe we should both go on Feldman, maybe.
I've been on Feldman a couple times, but we've never been on together.
He doesn't haphazardly, but we could do it. You know, it's like
it would have. I think the only way it would be fun is if we were both in New York.
Yeah, that's true.
Actually went
because then it's too isolated
in the room. Yeah. But 2 of us on Skype.
Right. Which is the show we just pitched.
Yes.
Skype days.
Right. I think we're done.
I think that we're done. I'd like to apologize. I feel like I'm. I apologize to myself. No. I feel like I'm so aware of how I'm thinking. This can't last forever. What are you thinking? How are you thinking? What am I thinking? How am I thinking?
Maybe you need to listen to some Is it Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now? No.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe some Eckhart Tolle.
To get out of my head?
Yeah.
I gotta start meditating, or I have to leave the country. But I want to say though that I have nothing to say specifically. When is this coming out? Because I'm going to be in Calgary at the end of June.
Well, this will be coming out in mid-May.
That is very sad. I don't know if I'm having the colonoscopy, but I will try and promote that.
Do the blow by blow.
I bet no one's ever done a bit about a colonoscopy.
No, I think it's ripe territory.
Wow. Let me jot it down.
It's red and juicy territory. Is that what she said?
She said your internal hemorrhoids look pretty good. They're red and juicy. So I said that to my doctor today.
Like a Wendy's hamburger.
All right. You see, that's the thing. I know the exact appropriate amount.
Yeah.
And you go the extra thing. Not really. I think, before we leave, you know that Sonic commercial where the two guys are spritzing?
Yeah.
They seem to be making a lot of versions of that now. Just any two people.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love when I kind of love when that happens because it's so always cheesy.
When it becomes a genre.
Yeah, because there's a guy playing guitar in one.
Right.
Hey, why don't you have a turkey sandwich? What are you doing there?
Right.
Stupid. I guess I didn't see why we're not on it. So anyway, until I've never been to Sonic. I've been to In-N-Out Burger, but I've never been to Sonic.
I've been to both.
And how would you rate Sonic?
I'd rate it well below In-N-Out Burger.
How about the commercials?
Since In-N-Out.
Oh, they're pretty spicy. Oh, they're spicy. Is that commercial too spicy? Oh, it's just a regular commercial. Josh, I love you, and I'm looking forward to next week. And it was good to see Lucky. Nice to see Lucky working again.
We didn't pick a movie.
Oh.
I'm going to the AFI comedy list.
Okay.
And the first one we haven't both seen, we'll watch.
Great.
Okay.
That would be really good.
Something Like It Hot, seen it. Tootsie, seen it. Dr. Strangelove, seen it. Annie Hall, seen it. Duck Soup, seen it. Blazing Saddles, seen it. MASH, seen it. MASH is number 7?
It's not.
That's crazy.
I don't even think it's.
It Happened One Night. I haven't seen
it.
That's Claudette Colbert and...
that would be an interesting turn for us. Who wrote? Is it a Preston Sturges thing?
Robert Riskin wrote it. Frank Capra directed it. And it's Clark Gable and Claudette Colbert. So,
How funny could that be?
1934 screwball comedy. Let's do it.
All right.
Just if for no other reason, because that's the rule I set down.
Yeah. You're not going to do how those improv groups do. Anything at all. No, we did that last week.
Right. So next week we'll be watching 1934's It Happened One Night.
I think Susan will enjoy that too.
That's good, and it's only 105 minutes. So.
Until then, may all your spirals be thoughtless.
And all your comedies be screwball.